No.
It's okay.
It's not like we're gonna have attendance.
Oh
It's gonna
gosh.
be a very interesting
Yeah.
conversation. It's like I read the book, but I have no idea.
It was so funny because when I was asking y'all about the time, I'm like, I should check what book we read because I completely forgot what book we just read.
Boy, it was that memorable.
Yeah. That's how I was just like, I finished it, but I did
There's
not
what you can say about
it. Like it was just playing.
Yeah.
It was background noise.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope no one's like, I loved it. It was so
You know,
I
in
think
my,
we're to see like if people did really like it, like what they liked about it.
I had two people on my post where, where I did the, where I posted that it was a 2-star book for me. And I think like 2 people put that they really, really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, sorry.
I think that, and I mean, we can get into this more. Like, I think I can see why someone would like it.
Mhm.
It's not like the worst written book or something.
Yeah.
And I think a much younger audience will like it. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's a YA book, but I find
Yeah.
plenty of YA books that I like. I don't know. We can talk about more about that.
The author has potential. I would
agree.
read something else from them.
Yeah.
Like I would give them another chance.
Yeah, like there wasn't nothing. I don't know if because I was talking to my daughter really quick, but I don't know if you guys said this, but the writing was very easy to read, and it was enjoyable as far as like the writing format was.
Yeah.
But contents were
Lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Welcome, you guys.
Hi.
We were just kind of already giving our
Jumping right in.
Hi, Savannah.
Let's see.
Said can't hang out with
Everyone.
Wanted to say hi. So sweet. Hello, Amanda and Kelly. Amanda already says she didn't care for it either. Very boring.
very boring.
Kelly, it reminded me of Shirley Jackson.
Oh,
I've only read The Haunting of Hill House, and I read it way before like it was adapted. So I didn't have like super high expectations when I read that book, and I loved that book. But that's the only book of hers that I've read.
yeah, I read that way before I even knew it was going to be a show, but this is like the 3rd book I read of hers at the time. And I just can't vibe with either one of them. I mean, I'm still in search for that hopeful one that I would like, but I just think it's her style that I just don't vibe with.
Yeah.
It's a very slow burn.
Mhm.
I love Haunting of Hill House. It's a near perfect book for me. And yeah, I had read it before the show. Of course, the show is not a straight adaptation. And I love the show for what it is.
Yeah,
but,
it's way different. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people went into that expecting the show. And so they were
the original movie is definitely like from the 1960 is very good.
They also had like a 90s movie
too.
Yes. That
Called
I did see.
It was V bad.
Garbage.
That movie like tainted the book
adaptation and then read the book. You're gonna love the book.
We do
No,
a
it
live
ruined it. It ruined my book. The book.
Haunting.
Oh, the movie, like the 90s movie?
Yeah, because I just Owen Wilson. I don't like him, so I could just picture him. It was just like I
Liam
did not like the
Neeson
movie.
and like
I
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, it was bad. The original movie is very good. However, I did not like We've Always Lived in the Castle.
Yeah, I've been wanting to read that actually, so I could watch.
That's one of my favorite books, and that's the book that made me like when Kelly brought this up in the Discord about it reminding her of Shirley Jackson, and that's the book that reminds me of what Big Teeth or vice versa or whatever.
Oh, really?
I didn't like We Have Always Lived in the Castle, but I like We Have Always Lived in the Castle more than this one. Like a million times more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Look what I just got, guys. It's not part of the live show, but I pre-ordered it.
I was like, Carol, aren't you reading that?
I finished it.
Oh, Carol. I can't wait to read it. I don't know why it took so long.
Do you have to read the other?
It's
like,
not?
Do you have to read
so good.
other, what is it, the Colorado? What is it
Colorado
called?
Kid.
Yeah.
Colorado Kid.
Like, you have to read those mysteries before that? Oh, okay. Because I have Joyland.
Yeah, Joyland. That's the only one that I've read of those, like, I don't know, is it like noir kind of? Like the covers are very that's the only one I've read. And I remember trying to read it once and couldn't get into it, and then I tried again and liked it pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, the Colorado Kid kind of sucks, but
All right. So we might as well just do some introductions, and then we'll tell everyone what we rated the book. So those of you who did finish the book, what did you rate it? Tell us in the comments. And so I'll let Marcy, you go ahead, go first.
Hey guys, not much introduction and the same stuff as always. Marcy from Marcy Reads. I read horror and a little bit of everything, and I ended up giving this book 2 stars.
Kat.
I'm Kat. My channel is Kat Chats. I didn't finish this yet. I'm like 60% of the way through, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna officially DNF it, but I feel like I probably will. I've been like off and on reading it physically and listening to the audiobook, and when I listen to the audiobook, like I just feel like I'm intaking nothing. It's just like background noise. So I feel like even though I've read 60% of it, I don't really feel like I have. But yeah, I haven't been loving it.
No.
Yeah, I do think I would have DNF'd it for sure had I like not been the host of this.
Yeah.
Like, that's what like made me actually finish the book. Because I'm like, well, I'm the host. Like, I have to have like talking points. And even now I'm like, I have no talking points. I really don't know what I read. But yeah, I wouldn't blame you, Kat, if you decided to DNF it, because I listened to the audio. Kelly said the audio was super dry. I listened to the audiobook because I started physically reading it and I wasn't getting into it. So I was like, maybe if I listen to it on audiobook, like I could just, you know, maybe somehow it'll catch my attention.
Yeah.
And it didn't work either way. So Gailey said she rated it low 2 stars, super disappointed. This was one of my most anticipated of the year. We were excited to have this one as a pick. We were so excited when we decided to read this one.
Yeah.
I said 2 stars as well. Carol, what about you?
All right. I gave it a 3-star because I don't know what to rate it because I'm numb to it. Like I've read worse books. I've read books that I hated. I just don't. I have no feelings towards it. Like just like there.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, I would read more from this author. Like I'd try something from them again, but the pacing was not good for me. And it was not like what I expected at all. Yeah. So that's kind of, and I don't know if that's my fault or if it's like the synopsis fault or the marketing or whatever, but yeah, I'm kind of just like, I didn't know what to rate it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel that.
For sure. I think a lot of us kind of feel the way you said. Like, I would probably still try something else that she wrote. I think there's definite potential in there. And I think that's why I think I'm leaning around like a 2-star rating as well. Like I didn't hate it. I usually reserve 1 stars for books I absolutely hate or are super problematic. And I don't feel like this was like a book that I hate. But I definitely feel like Carol, like I just don't really have any feelings. I don't have any feelings one way or the other. But there were like little bits in there that I did
You know, I feel like that out of all the books that we have read, well, not all of them, but the majority of them where I've been like, I don't get what the point of the book was. I feel like I get the book was here, like when they explained it. It wasn't like, what was it, the library at Mount Char, where we were like, what? And it was.
What did you read?
But this one, you can understand sort of what the storyline is and who they are almost. I just not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I got the point of this one as well. Like, yeah. And it just, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't really care.
Mm-hmm. I'm Amy, and my channel is Amy Reads. A lot of what you guys have already said, I ended up giving this 2 stars. I listened to it on audio because I got it from Hoopla, and it was definitely just a lot. I wasn't taking a lot in, especially in the last half. In fact, I thought that I was at a certain point in the audiobook, and then I don't know if I also had an ebook from my library or something. And I had been reading it on ebook. I went back to the audiobook and like guessed where I was, and I was like 4 chapters ahead, and I was listening, and it took me like 20 minutes to realize I was like, I don't know what's going on even in the part I am at. Like it took me so long, and I was like, oh, I'm like way too far ahead, and had to go back.
Yeah, so, like one of the chapters was 67 pages.
The chapters are very long for the style of book it is, and YA. So you would think the chapters would be like 10 pages or less. Like 10 pages seems generous for a chapter. And especially they were trying to do a lot of like twists, and like I feel like it may have worked better if they had ended on twists at the end of chapters and stuff. But yeah, it all just sort of washed over me, and I wasn't actually taking in a lot of it. Like I had to go back and force myself to listen to some of the end, because I got to the end and was like, huh? Like I don't usually have that issue with audiobooks. Like I'll usually scroll something like Pinterest that doesn't require me to like read captions really, and do my audiobook. And so then I can listen to the audiobook, and I don't usually have that issue with other books. But this one just, like, I can't definitively tell you what happened at the end. And it's not because it wasn't written well. It's because it was just like not getting.
That's so funny. I had like the same experience. I was listening, and like I usually listen while I play like video games or something. I was playing The Sims, and I was like, oh, I have no idea what's going on. So I would like, I missed something. I zoned out. So I would rewind it, and I'm like, no, I heard this, but
it didn't click.
Like, no, what's happening?
I think that's so interesting that we all had very similar experiences.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not
clicking
with us. And it's like, I'm reading the words and I get it, but I don't. Like,
so funny.
Yeah, I think I was playing Animal Crossing, which is the most mindless thing ever that you can play. And there were times where I was like playing and I was like reading, like if I had to go to like a villager or something, and I was reading like what they were talking about. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh crap, I'm listening to an audiobook because I couldn't even remember.
Just completely zoning out. I did the same thing. I typically listen when I'm like cleaning around the house, which I was just telling Marcy before we went live, is that I've just been in like a weird purging mood. So I'm just getting rid of so much stuff. And so I've just been cleaning, like I tackle a room pretty much each day that I have off. And so I would turn it on, and then I'd be cleaning, and then I would just stop, and I'd be like, what is it? I don't even know. Like this last hour, I have no idea what happened at all. And I feel like so much of it was so much like of her like inner, what is it? Dialogue. Yeah, that it was just like, okay, is something gonna happen? Like there was a lot of inner dialogue, and then a lot of just characters interacting with each other, but nothing was really standing out.
Yeah, at all. And you know what I found as well? I'm not going to mention any spoilers yet, but I feel like I read the first part of the book, And I knew, I'm like, okay, I want to get to the resolution of this because I already knew what it was with the disappearance of that kid. So I feel like that, and then the ending, like sort of put that together, and that's all I needed. I just needed 15 page of the book. I didn't need the octopus mom or the, I don't know what else.
Like the weird aunt, great aunt or whatever she was that came in and.
Yeah, it was this whole story that just, who cares, just to find out what really happened at the beginning, which we already knew. We know what happens, you know, like,
yeah.
I don't know if y'all sort of like already knew what happened.
Can we talk spoilers yet?
Yeah, we might as well get into it. So those of you,
because I would like Marcy to explain what happened in the end, because I don't
know.
Right? I have no idea. She's like,
really
I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking
It's
about.
not towards the end that it happens, but at some point you find out that she actually does kill or eat that boy that they're toying around with, and that they sort of erase her memory. And then she comes back and she doesn't know. I feel like that was the whole point of the book. And then the other things are just fillers that really didn't matter.
Yeah, because once you know that she like bit that girl at school, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably did that.
Like,
yeah.
And I felt like it read very young YA, which is fine. But I definitely got that feeling.
Yeah, there were a lot of like a lot that dealt with like just her like little romantic infatuations.
Okay. And also, and I understand what happened with that character, whatever his name was.
Arthur.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I have the same exact question you do, and I
had a question about this too.
60-70% of the book till you find out what's going on with him. Like, you're like, excuse me, he's a grown ass man. They're like, she's like, he's a few years younger than my dad, and I'm like, and she's like in love with him, and her sister's in love with him, and her brother or cousin or whoever is in love with him.
Why is everybody in love with him?
Isn't part of his weirdness is like he
it never
attracts everyone? Like that's like his or his strangeness or whatever. Like so it's not like
I think it was part of the
I don't think it's like he's some hot that's the word I'm looking for. He's not some like hot dude, finely aged wine kind of a man.
Yeah.
He's just like everyone's got this like allure.
Almost like a vampire where like people are like attracted to them and pulled toward them because that's part of their like they're not even meaning to do it. Now was that just like who he was, or was that part of like the curse that was put on him or whatever?
Well, even before the curse, remember that the guy or whoever it was fell in love with him way before any of this happened.
The grandfather,
the grandfather.
Yeah,
and then the not there yet, but he and the grandfather were.
Like, wait, what?
And then the wife goes.
Everyone in this story, every character that we come across has fell in love with this guy at some point.
I feel like this book could have benefited if she would have made it like more vulgar and stranger and just wrote it adult. I just feel like it could be something like really gritty and like everyone's sleeping with everyone and everyone's secretly doing this and this and then they're werewolves and vampires and like the horrendous things of humanity
like
plus
a guilty pleasure kind of book if it had been like, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I although I really didn't care about the mom precisely, I was a little bit intrigued, and I wish they would have explained that part of it more. Like, why was she always in the tub, and why was she an octopus? You know what I mean? Like, what was
she an octopus? Did I miss something, or you just
supposed to be like some kind of siren type?
She just has like.
I just know she had like
all over her.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just like how you envisioned her as an octopus.
I'm saying octopus because she kept saying that she had like this bulbous like sucking things on her arms, like I pictured tentacles, and that they were I don't know that they were.
I assume that she had to stay in the tub to keep her whole body like
moist.
Yeah,
because like otherwise,
maybe it was like painful.
She would like dry out.
If you dried out, yeah. I wish they would have touched on that. I feel like none of the characters really stood out to me as like having any redeeming qualities. Like everyone just kind of sucked.
I don't feel like I know anything about any of them.
Anyone, right?
They all felt very flat to me.
You couldn't connect to any of them.
Yeah.
I feel that way too. The only one that's really stood out is like the grandfather, because he would always just like want to attack everyone throughout the whole thing.
He's my favorite. He's just like,
Yeah.
F you, I'm gonna attack you.
Yeah. And then like the grandmother Persephone, I did enjoy that scene like with the tarot and everything that was going on. Like that was
probably one of the highlights.
Ooh, maybe things are gonna get like really interesting, and like it just didn't.
Well, her grandma tells her what they do the tarot, and then doesn't she say like, don't invite a stranger into this house and everything will be cool? That's exactly what she does.
She's like,
I mean,
don't let anyone like lose. Like you have to stay in charge. Don't let anyone else like take that away.
What she does, like
immediately. I think that is kind of as soon as the other grandmother gets to the house, which is probably about halfway in the book. That is kind of where I just like completely lost sight of what was happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about that like just didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know. The writing completely changed almost.
You know, I really did like, let's talk about some pros, because I really did like.
I know, I feel like we are kind of bashing it a little bit, which I don't really mean to.
Yeah. I really did like
when you didn't enjoy yourself, and especially like coming from like someone who kind of had to force themselves to finish it, because it didn't really. I wouldn't have finished.
Yeah,
it.
I feel like the part that she makes up at the end. Hey, Molly.
Hi, Molly.
She's so cute. The part where she's like, okay, if she controls too much of a room, she starts weakening. I like that battle part, and I like how they overcame the aunt and how they maneuvered her like that. But yeah, that's all.
That's all.
That's all.
Let's talk about some pros. Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, like 2 seconds of pros.
It was just, I think I get what she was trying to do. And she's trying to write a strange story where she leaves out just enough detail to keep you like interested. Like, we read those books where we're like, we don't know what's going on, but it's still really good. It just feels like she couldn't hit the mark with like the right amount of lack of detail and revealing. Yeah. And the pacing with the reveals, and it was just too heavy on the end at the end of the book with everything going on versus the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention the like reincarnation thing with Eleanor. I don't know if reincarnation's the right word. But
which word is that?
So is
what?
it her?
Literally, not even remembering what we read.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Eleanor's mother, it isn't like the firstborn or anything. She had an older brother who Arthur killed.
Yeah.
Like smothered in the crib. And then at the very end, she says, Persephone says that she always thought that son that was killed was inside of Eleanor. So Eleanor is in love with her killer because Arthur smothered the kid.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
I don't get it.
I remember that part.
Yeah, Arthur killed him because he was so mad that the grandparents had this son that they loved aside from him. Like
out of jealousy.
Yeah.
He was jealous because they basically like just deserted him, and she stayed in the house, and they stayed in the house with the baby, and they were entranced with the baby, and they sort of forgot him.
But it has something to do with something that Eleanor can do or knows about, and that's why Persephone, which is the grandmother, right, thinks that this boy that died is inside of her. It was interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I remember that part.
Like it was just like drop. Like she was just like, oh, here it is. That's
That was towards the end, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
didn't.
was probably
pick up,
like
but I
the
must
last
have,
little
like,
bit,
spaced out.
actually.
It was probably like the last 20% or so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right before
Looks
they like
we
run
learned
away.
a lot about family trees in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says here, I found it. Does that mean that Eleanor is kissing her murderer on this hilltop while the house they both died in burns behind them?
I remember that quote. I just didn't get it. I was all, should I rewind it and like try to get it? No, I just don't even care at this point.
I rewinded that part like 4 times and then I had to pick it up and I'm like, what is she trying to say here? And then I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I liked that idea, but like it wasn't like expanded on, and it was just kind of plopped there. And
yeah,
I feel
like they picked up a bunch of things that had interesting, but then somehow dropped all these interesting points.
Yeah.
Kind of like added that in just to kind of make it like more of like the wow factor, I guess.
Yeah.
In there. Like, oh, whoa, that's mind blowing. Because I did hear that part, and I was like, whoa. And then I was like, maybe I should rewind it, but then I didn't really care about the whole story anyway.
And then I just didn't.
Wait and find out what that meant.
Yeah, and I don't want to badmouth YA books. Like, it's not YA books are bad, but I feel like sometimes as I am 31 years old, sometimes I just can't connect to a YA book. Or, like it's, some are great, some I love. And I just, sometimes I'm just like, so maybe, I'm sure like 15-year-old Carol would have liked this, or 12-year-old Carol would have liked this, but.
Right. I feel like oftentimes I have an easier time connecting with a YA character if it's in fantasy or something else. Like if it's in like a more, I guess this isn't really contemporary, but it's almost too much of reality put in there. And then with her like angstiness, kind of like that romantic infatuation, it just kind of makes it blah. Because I'm like, I just don't really.
When you're reading a young adult fantasy, although they're young adults, they're usually dealing with more adult things.
Badasses.
Yeah. Like they're not in high school worried about the boy of the week or who's saying what or who's, and it's different, I think it just depends on what the characters are going through. Because I agree, I can read young adult fantasy way more than I can read a young adult contemporary.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for YA fantasy. Like usually when I read YA fantasy, it's usually 5 stars for me. It's no lower than 4 sometimes, but I'm just obsessed with YA. But I feel like YA horror, for some reason, they do it really, really, really young, which I don't get. Like why are you just call it middle grade? I don't know.
I feel like it would be hard for, like, where is the line? Like with young adult horror versus adult horror. I think like you want to like toe
really well is Alexis Henderson with The Year of the Witching. Like that toes the line really well. I think
that's so good.
But is like, The Year of the Witching YA?
Huh? Yeah.
Is The Year of the Witching YA? I have it here, but I haven't read it.
Okay. It's not marketed really as YA. Like, because I didn't even know it was YA until I started reading the book. And then I was like, oh, she's like 16 or 17, like
because I have it in the adult, because on Goodreads it says it's an adult novel.
No, it's definitely YA, but it's the horror is pretty legit, especially in the beginning of that book.
Yeah, that's why I think it's hard for a young adult horror writer, because it's easy to get backlash for saying, why are you putting this stuff in a young adult book, but you want to write horror.
Y'all need to read Take Your Turn, Teddy. That is a YA horror.
I'm reading it this week, and I'm so excited. Did you finish it already?
Yeah, and I'll talk to you guys after the live. But there's like exciting news about my review and stuff with the hardcover copy that I'm super excited about.
Oh, I'm so excited to read that.
I just got my copy in the mail.
It's so good.
I didn't know it was YA. Like, I knew it was a young protagonist, but yeah.
I believe it's YA.
I'm excited. Crystal said, I feel like it's hard to find true YA horror. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
I love those Crafty Fierce Street.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm 35.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I love the covers for Fear Street so much.
Oh
and
my
the,
gosh, yes.
Yeah. I feel like it sucks because I feel like authors will catch flack for putting too much stuff in, but then you have like horror readers who are like, "Oh, I wish you would push the envelope."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarier.
I'm sorry, it's not YA, it's just coming of age.
Okay.
Okay, so it's more like how well, I guess that's not really coming of age. But like how like The Devil Crept In is considered adult horror, but it's told from like a young protagonist.
A young perspective. Yeah. Well, because half of the book you're following Teddy, which is the young kid that goes through all this trauma when he's a kid, and then you're following a set of detectives that are trying to solve this murder. And one of the detectives was in the case of the young kid at the beginning. So you have two aged.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it is a lot like The Devil Crept In.
Timelines.
Age differences.
I'm excited.
Never heard of this.
Kristen said Fear Street is the best.
Yes. Yes. Love Fear Street.
Oh man.
What are each of your favorite horror adult reads?
I'm gonna need a minute to answer that.
Kat's gonna cancel me. I'm gonna say
It's
It's one of them by Stephen
Threw
King.
that out there.
Which one is it?
I said Kat's gonna cancel me. It by Stephen King is one of my favorites.
Oh man, yes.
Kat hates that book.
I hate that book so much.
I don't blame you.
I haven't read it. I don't.
I love it so much. I cried so hard for weeks. When I tell you that I cried for weeks, my husband was like, "Marcella, you need to stop." I'm like, "I can't." And we were in the middle of moving to Georgia, and I'm like sobbing.
He's like, "Get it together, girl."
Oh God.
If you like pretty prose, I guess, Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
That's
It's
a
one of
great
my
book.
all-time favorites.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That's another one it's written about teenagers, but it's adult horror.
Yeah, that's kind of my shtick, is like that coming of age, kids fighting evil kind of thing. Love it. Yeah.
That's a great
Loves Come Closer by Sarah Grand, which I have on my TBR.
I'm afraid to read that one.
Planning to read it for a secret TBR last month, and then I like have been in such a. It's not really it's kind of a slump, but like I'm just not reading horror. I'm reading other things. So yeah, hopefully I get back into it and I read it this month.
Yeah.
Well,
I read it last month and really liked it.
But I know that Erin really liked it.
So I don't read as much like straight up horror as a lot of you ladies do. I will read, like my husband reads a ton of horror. Like a lot of the stuff you guys talk about are things he's read or wants to read. So like I'll sometimes get recommendations from him, and I feel like I used to read more, and now like being on BookTube, I've found other genres that I like. But I love Nosferatu by Joe Hill.
Yes, I was going to go. That's
also,
a good one.
I know it's technically horror, but it's Horns by Joe Hill is one of my favorites.
That's really good.
I haven't read that one.
Definitely Something Wicked This Way Comes. I've not read a ton of Stephen King, honestly, and I've not read a lot of his horror, so couldn't say. And there's, I do love The Stand. That's one of my favorite books. But I mean, it's horror, but it's also like a lot of other things, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so a lot more like mainstream stuff. You guys know a lot more, and I'm always getting like recommendations from you guys on more indie horror and stuff.
Yeah. I think the ones that you said though are pretty solid though. I really enjoyed like most of those. So
yeah.
I'm here writing down 4 of them because I can't just pick one favorite, okay?
Right.
Anytime Marcy puts out a video,
I love it.
I just like get my notebook ready. I'm like, oh, hold on, Marcy's got a video. Let me just write all this down.
Yeah, really just open the Goodreads tab and watch Marcy's video. Yeah.
I'll get to that question in a second. I think as far as favorites, I already said The Devil Crept In. The Between by Tananarive Due is fantastic. If you like psychological horror, that one is like mind blowing. I love that one.
Oh, Seed by Anya Alborn. That one.
I haven't read that one yet. I love Brother by her as well. If you
Brothers.
Yes.
If you are a fan of let's say like horror movies and you haven't really dipped into the genre of horror, but you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like a family of serial killers, like Brother is fantastic.
So good. I cried at the end of that one too.
Mm-hmm.
I cried hard. I cried so hard at the end of Brother that I could not compose myself.
Oh my God.
Really?
Bless.
I don't think I cried at all, but
Michael.
So good.
How can you not, Michael? Like,
I
don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I don't.
Raine's a robot.
Raine's like, whatever. Who cares?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like sometimes I will just like have no reaction to a book, and then sometimes I will cry watching a commercial. So I don't really know why I'm that way.
I feel like reading sometimes, okay, like a commercial, you're like getting the vivid images. So it's really tapping into your emotions. But I feel sometimes like with books, even though we might not realize that we're doing, I feel like we sort of guard a little bit what we're reading as far as picturing in our heads. Or we're sort of like, not really detached, but in a way detached where it really, you can't like visually see it. I don't know.
I get you.
Yeah.
And there's no music with books.
Yeah.
Music gets me too.
Oh, yeah, music is important.
Me. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to talk about 4 books that are my favorite. 4, maybe 5. Okay, if you want like sick, like twisted, and I think Carol has read it too, and she'll vouch for this one. Gone to See the Riverman.
Kelly just said that.
Yeah, I said that one was good.
So good. And then Christopher Triana is one of my favorites. I just finished The 13th Coyote, which is a splatter western by him. I think it's the best out of all 8 books so far.
Splatter western?
These covers from Death's Head Press, that they're all
cool.
Okay,
that's very cool.
Check them out. Amazing, but they're a little bit gory. So like if you don't like too much gore or too much, it's set back in the, it's Western. So they're set in the 1800s. There's a lot of like, racial slurs, not too much. There's 2 of them that it's like pretty out there and I don't like those, but they're done very tastefully. Another one, so that's like if you want twisted. If you want something more of like a weird read that's horror, A Cosmology of Monsters,
love that.
I want to read that. I think my husband's read that.
Oh, so good. And it's more of a fantastic
book that borders on horror and fantasy. It's like kind of a mishmash. It's really good.
Yeah. Then as far as Stephen King, because I always have to talk about Stephen King and I said it a million times, Lizzie's Story, it to me is like the best.
Okay, I did bawl my eyes out with that one.
Oh, yes.
I'm not dead inside, okay? I have feelings.
And then the last one, which is my all-time favorite, other than I Am Legend, it would be The Rust Maidens by Gwendolyn Kist. I like live and die for that book. I've read it like 3 times already.
Been on my TBR for years.
So good.
Whoever does those covers they're so good.
Danielle Serra, the best.
They're great.
The Rust Maidens sounds amazing.
It's so good.
So good.
So those are my favorites.
Looking all of these up now.
I love that Danielle comes in here with questions. It's so much more fun than talking about the book.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I think we're all done with what
right? I mean, we pretty much gave our
Yeah, it's fine. We can all just chat about books.
Do you have horror booktubers that are your go-tos? Well, besides, Marcy Carey.
Yeah, Marcy.
Yeah, I was gonna say people in this chat and Crystal.
I love Erin Megan. I also love who are my people?
I love if you want something very informative, like Rachel, which is Shades of Orange. She has like the best informative videos. Like she does sci-fi and then horror and then fantasy, and she separates her videos by genre. So like if you're not a horror person, you like sci-fi, she has, just a whole list of sci-fi, but she explains the books so good.
Very organized
And very like, she's not about like the editing or anything. She's just about the books and talking about what they are. I think she's fantastic.
Yes. Anda Kent, she writes horror, but she also like talks about like horror movies and stuff as well. And then there's Cup of J, who I also love.
Y'all should put them in the YouTube chat for people.
Yeah, that's what I'm working
Y'all
on.
should put them in the chat.
Put what?
Type out their names in the chat.
Type out their names in the chat.
I'm dumb. Sorry.
Cameron Chaney, he's another one that's the Library of the Macabre. What's his name? He's really, really good. And his setup, I'm dying to do that to my bookcase because he has like the fluorescent lighting in the back of the bookshelves. It's so bomb.
Oh, God.
And he's a writer as well. I think he has like 2 short story collections, if I'm not mistaken, that are like perfect for the fall time.
Oh, yes. Autumn Crow is so good.
Yes.
So good. I like Alex. She is one of my friends, Alex, from the Bookybus, I think is what her name is. But it used to be Hey Little Thrifter. If you like
oh yes,
like
I love her.
vintage horror.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of stuff. And if you like podcasts, the Books in the Freezer podcast, which is the
they're amazing. They follow our Instagram. I'm trying to type these out for you girls if you want to have like, a lot on there. Crystal has Harpies in the Trees, which yes, she's a vibe. I love her videos too. They're really cool. So they're like candlelight and it's cool. I really
and
really,
Chapter
really cool.
Stacks, Katie from Chapter Stacks. She does a lot of horror and thrillers.
She does movies and I love her vlogs. I just love to sit there and like, she's not anything like that she goes out or anything, but I just love watching her talk. She has like this calming voice.
Yeah. Oh, and Coral from Pretty in Paper Cuts. I'm just like going through my.
I'm like,
I don't know what it is.
I'm trying to type these out, but I'm not.
She reads a lot of like indie horror, I think, too. And like
hold on, let me look for her.
Pretty in Paper Cuts.
Pretty in Paper Cuts. Let me see.
There's a lot of great ones out there.
I think if you want to like search YouTube, some people use the tag like horror tube, like all one word, and like you might be able to find more through there too.
Right.
I gotta check Pretty in Paper Cuts. I've never seen her channel. I'll check her out.
I need to have more of a shtick. Like all of these people are like horror YouTube, and I'm just like, I read like so many different things. Like I don't have an aesthetic like at all.
A genre.
My aesthetic is like here I am. That's it. Like,
my aesthetic is indeed. I have decided to film a video today.
Yeah.
Right.
You're getting what you get.
You're welcome. That's my.
You're
aesthetic.
welcome. Exactly. But
I'll
I
have
did
to try and like come back and
I love like pastel.
Yes, well-read beard. He's awesome. Brad. Is it Brad? No.
Beard.
I forgot his name. I think it's Brad. No, it's not Brad. Brad is somebody else. But he's really good. He really like talks about the books and like the point. He's, very direct, no, editing or anything like that, but very informative videos.
love it.
Kevin, yes.
Yeah, I think that's like, Bookybus. Yeah, I think I just recently started subscribing to them. Pretty in paper cuts. Thank you, Carol, for adding those in. I was like, I was having a hard time keeping up.
I love that this has just turned into like sharing booktubers we love. Like I love it.
Why not? Let's shout some people out.
Exactly.
Another question. What are you currently reading? I just finished What Big Teeth like 30 minutes ago. So not 30 minutes. I've been live for 45 minutes, so maybe like an hour and a half ago, but
that's exciting. You get to choose a new book tonight.
I think I'm gonna read Take Your Turn Teddy for sure.
It's so good.
That's what I'm gonna start tonight. I wanted to read The Last Time I Lied for Buzzwordathon, but I haven't been in much of a reading mood lately, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna start Take Your Turn Teddy, maybe The Echo Wife, because I only have 3 days left on my library hold, so I need to hurry up and read that before March, if you guys don't know that already.
I kind of forgot.
What book we were reading for March? That's fine.
Hey, are we going to announce our April, May, and June picks very soon?
Yeah, actually, I was going to...
Do we have them picked already?
I don't remember what they are. I know one. That's it.
No, yeah. We can announce like the next... Let's do April and May.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So
Raine
April is
someone will make a pretty graphic.
What?
I said someone will make a pretty graphic.
Yeah.
Who's doing that? You, Kat. Somebody's doing that.
Kat made the last one, so if she wants to make this one.
Yeah, I'll make it again. I don't care.
We Ride Upon Sticks is what we're reading in April. Oh. And then in May, we're reading House of Hollow. I know the author's last name is Sutherland. I can't remember.
She posted like a little excerpt on her Instagram, and it sounded pretty creepy. Like it was
really
a promising little excerpt. Yeah,
Crystal Sutherland, and that is YA. So hopefully we don't get burned again.
Oh, is it YA?
House of Hollow.
Like with the cover being so beautiful. I mean, that's kind of how we felt about this one.
Oh my god!
Beautiful cover. It's gonna be great. No,
it's kind of like the same thing too. Like there's the flower, like her face is broken up, and there's the flowers.
They did great with this cover, man. Like I'm keeping it just for the cover, and I think that they did the cover so well that it's sort of disappointing.
It made it worse that it wasn't a good book.
I'm so worried about it.
Yeah.
Because I like never keep books I don't like, but I just like I want to keep these covers. So
right. Yeah. Sure. And especially like my sister bought mine. She pre-ordered it for me for Christmas. So I'm like, I don't want to like get rid of it.
You can't get rid of it. It's one book, you know, like
yeah.
What else what are you guys currently reading? Marcy,
I just finished okay, so I'm not gonna finish What Big Teeth, but I was reading. But I also finished another book called Go Down Hard by Alice.
Oh yes, Alice.
You read that?
Woo! That one is so good and so steamy.
I know. I was gonna mention it before, but it's also like if you want like a twisted short horror, like it was really good. I liked it.
Nice.
What is this about? Sorry, I'm looking. I'm like,
it's basically about like two serial killers who run into each other.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, that's all you even need to know.
Yep.
I put that one to read because of Marcy.
Yeah,
really. Now that I see it. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm currently reading The Psychology of Time Travel by Mascarenhas, which is really good. I'm really liking it. I'm also reading a few other things. Like I always have a physical, an ebook, and an audiobook going, but this is my physical, and I would love to finish it. I have like 100 pages left. It's about these 4 women who are scientists in the 60s, and they invent time travel for real. And then one of the 4, like the whole premise, this happens in like the first bit, the whole premise is like one of the 4 has kind of like a public breakdown, and people are like, oh, is it because she time traveled? And so they like kick her out basically, and they're like, nope, you're too much of a, like, you're a liability, so we're gonna go on without you. So she didn't get like credited with it. And it follows a lot of different people and obviously a lot of different timelines. And there's also a murder that happens, or there's a mystery going on. It's really good so far. Like, it's a 4-star so far. And like the angry girl, like I'm digging it.
It sounds interesting.
That does sound interesting.
It's adult. It's not YA. But yeah.
Ooh, I like the way that sounds. I'll be looking forward to your.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. By the way, the time.
Oh, I was like, I don't know if you guys are participating in Buzzwordathon. The May buzzword is house or home. So if you read our book,
yes,
for
perfect.
Doctor Strange.
I haven't been keeping up with that. I used to like really, really participate in that readathon when it was, but last year when it was all, I think like for like what was it, a month with certain words. But ever since it was changed, I haven't been participating because it's almost like out of sight, out of mind for me because I don't go on Goodreads groups or anything.
Yeah, I don't either. I just kept the graphic that she made that has it all where you could like put them in. And then I just made myself a Google Doc and I just like went through all my books and was like, here are possibilities I could read for the month.
Right.
Yeah.
Based on what I own and then and want to read. And then if there is like this month, I didn't own a single book that I hadn't already read that had time in it. But this book was on my Goodreads TBR. And so I'll just look through my Goodreads TBR for that word.
Good
and I was like, ooh, I'm going to get it from my library.
Yeah, to me, it's almost like I want to like participate in a readathon with like other people, but I feel like we have like 1 week and like I don't find the sense of community like I did before when it was, like a different.
Yeah. It's more like a personal challenge.
Yeah.
That's all that
it's more
it is.
like a challenge. Yeah. I think that's kind of how she figured it this time, like to have it kind of like a challenge and everyone could kind of do their own thing with it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But I have so many challenges like that I'm like, forget it. I can't add another one because by the time that you know it, I'm reading 30 books a month and I can't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the 50. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Natasha from My Reading is Odd did just like, it wasn't really a vlog, but I think she probably will in future, like just on her buzzword book. So, I mean, you could like
do that
a month and then just do like a little reading vlog for it and kind of make it your own thing. Like, it can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm doing a lot like you, Amy, just kind of fitting it into the TBR that I already have. Like, I'm not trying to seek out anything extra. It's like, if I can get that book from the library or it's like a book that's on my shelf, then I'll throw it in there.
So what I'm doing every month is like I have, like at the beginning of my TBRs, I'm trying to read a book of the month book every month from my shelves. Trying to do the buzzword challenge and our stacks of strange picks. So those are like 3. And they can all be the same thing if they have to be, but it just is what it is. And so, and then I go from there, like what other books I want to read.
Let me tell you what I'm reading before we move to the next topic. I'm reading The Gulp by Alan Baxter, which is just like 5 tales of horror. Really good. I read the first one today and I'm loving it. Nice. I'm also reading an e-arc of Children of Chicago. Yeah, by Cynthia Pelayo. And it comes out like next week or something.
Marcy, you should check out Black Magic Women. It's like a anthology, and it's like I read it last month, and like all the stories are so good. So good.
It's really hard for me to find collection of short stories that are good, but the first one that I ever read that I liked was from this guy, from Alan Baxter. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a try. And then the last thing I'm reading is. I love this thing so much.
I'm having a hard time because I'm like, do I want to start A Court of Thorns and Roses or do I want to reread Shadow and Bone before it comes out? So I think I'm going to reread Shadow and Bone.
I'm going to do that too, but I could not, like, this wasn't even in my plans to read any of the series. And it's like, I've read all these 3 books. I'm almost done with this one, but I'm like, why did I wait so long and like belittle this book when I didn't even know I was going to love it so much?
I love those covers, by the way, too.
Yes, that's what made me read them. I didn't like the old ones. I'm like, I don't want to read that. Those covers are ugly.
I do like the new paperbacks better than the
beautiful.
Carol, what are you reading right now? And then I know you were talking about challenges.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that I'm trying to do the 50 horror books, like so 1 book per state.
50 states of horror.
Books, 50 states. Yeah, I'm doing that as well.
It's interesting, especially like when you start Googling like, I need a horror book set in Wyoming or Idaho. Who the fuck writes books about? Oh, sorry, but
right?
You like so it's kind of like, you know. But I think you might be able to find some gems like doing stuff like that because you don't think to ever. At least I don't like. It's much more easier for me to be like, oh, I want to read a book from this country because it's so different than like where I'm from.
Yeah,
like where it's like, I'm from Ohio, I'm going to read a book about Illinois. It's like the same thing. Like, it's not that different. Exactly. But, so I'm trying to do that. But I finished Later by Stephen King today. And it was like, there's a big like WTF moment.
I saw your stories. I'm like, oh, Lord.
I was like, damn it, King. Did you have to do that?
Oh, no.
I thought it was really good. It's coming of age horror. And a kid's, you know, like trying to fight evil things and people. So like that's like my thing. So
that's what the book is about?
Yeah.
That is not what I get from this cover.
No.
What is this?
No. Like I just looked at the cover.
No. But yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. And so now I'm kind of like I might pick up Take Your Turn, Teddy. I was gonna read I got my book of the month, like Too Good to Be True. Which is like mystery thriller.
I picked The Last Apothecary for mine. I
picked that one. I missed.
I think it's because I've been in this whole like spiritual, like witchcrafty mode. So like the Apothecary one just kind of stuck out to me the most.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it Deja that said? It might have been her that was talking about like that was one of her most anticipated releases. I don't remember. But a lot of people were picking it, at least on my Instagram, and I was like, did I miss like it? Should I have gotten that one?
Right? Maybe I can get her to buddy read it with me.
You guys be proud of me.
It was so much fun.
I skipped my book of the month this month.
You did?
I did.
I skipped
there were so many good picks.
I skipped last month.
Any of them. And last month I got like 3 books. And the month before that I got 4 because of the BFF free book. And I'm like, I need to stop. So I skipped.
I have been skipping since October. The last box I got was October. And then I caved this month.
Wow. So you probably have credits. So many credits.
No, because they don't charge you if you skip.
When you skip,
Yeah. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
No. And then I, don't have to spend that money.
I've never gotten of the month.
No. Don't. It's so addicting. You do not need
so
it.
much fun, and they've made it so much better over the years because they have like so many better add-ons. They've really, and I must say, and this is as a white person, I don't know how a person of color would feel, but last summer, when everything was going on and companies were coming out in support of Black Lives Matter and doing all these things, and they were criticized for not having diverse enough picks. And they came out and they were like, gonna do better. Here's what we're gonna do, X, Y, and Z. And it was sort of like, okay, well, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To say that since then, I have noticed a big change in the diversity.
Selection, I do agree.
Racial diversity, like of sexual orientation, like they have a lot.
I agree.
I've gotten like a lot of good, even if I don't pick a book that month, I've gotten like good, like I'll go to the library. Yeah. Like I read The Death of Vivek Oji. Oh my God. That is an amazing book. Like stuff like that maybe wouldn't have been on my radar anyways. I didn't pick it from them, but I read it through my library or something. Yeah. They've got it.
That's what I'll do sometimes because I like pick a book that I've at least heard of and that I already had on my radar. But so like, I don't know if it was last month. Sometimes you can just get like, they'll be like, don't like this month's pick. You can pick a member fave and they'll give you 5 books. And so I've done
like that.
But there was one month where they had The Prophets and a couple others that sounded good, but I hadn't heard of them. And I'm like, I don't want to take my $15 chance on a book that I don't know anything about yet. I would add it. And then, of course, now I'm hearing amazing things about The Prophets and other books. And so I have to say, I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. I don't know if they, are upping their diversity in terms of who works for them or what is happening. But I have to say, I feel like it's showing itself in what they're offering.
Yeah.
What books they're choosing to push. And I think the fact that they're pushing books that I have never heard of by authors of color and queer authors and stuff is telling me that, like, because if you get chosen as a book of the month book, like all of a sudden you're on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
Don't get book of the month.
For
all
sure.
over the reads. Like it's all over. And so I'm like, that's what they need to be doing, is pushing authors of color and queer authors and, any other marginalized author. And I do feel like I have seen a change. So that's why I keep supporting them, honestly. Because if I hadn't, I would have just canceled it. I'd have been like,
it's the only subscription service that I use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's like one book, usually like it's like you get the subscription boxes and they're paying like $40 a month. And I'm like, I just
For like a million bookmarks and pins and things.
Yeah.
I love that you can skip and not get charged. That's why I don't cancel, because I can just say, not this month, and then I just keep carrying over my credit.
And not only that, there are 2 things that attracted me from them for the beginning besides the skipping. I love the skipping. That's like, if you tell me I can skip, I'm signed up.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. The 2 things that really, really wow me is, number 1, when they have those early releases where the book doesn't come out till next month, I'm like, thank you very much.
Like a full month early.
Even though I'm not going to read it until 3 months later, but I like having the option.
Yeah, they usually do that with Riley Sager's books.
Yes. So
thing that I
have
love,
like every Riley Sager book. So his new one is gonna be on it this summer, and it's gonna be an early release.
Yeah.
That's why I don't pre-order that.
Taylor Jenkins Reid's new one. If it's not an April pick, it'll be a May pick because it comes out in May. And so there are certain books that I have on, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pre-order that book because it's going to be a book of the month.
That's what I did too.
They got to match too. They got to have the little book of the month logo.
Yes.
No, so here's my problem is like I have Riley Sager's books, but I have the newer ones in book of the month and his older ones in normal hardback. So I'm like, do I put them together on the bookshelf? Or
Can they coexist?
No, I book of the month because they're
family.
Right. Because I have all my book of the month club books like together. And I'm like, wait, but I need to put all my Riley Sager books together.
I'm loving it. I'm not the only one.
It is such a stupid problem, but I literally, like a week's worth of just staring at them like, what am I going to do with these?
Yeah, that's going to be my dilemma tomorrow when I start reorganizing my bookshelves, because that's my plan. Because I was like, I kind of want to go by genre, but then I'm like, but all my book of the months won't be together because I don't always pick the thriller picks.
Yeah.
So if something sticks out to me, I'll pick something else. Or
you know what you should do then, because this is how I do it. I have everything by genre except my book of the month. My book of the month is on these 3 shelves.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I do too.
You don't have to. If it's a book of the month, you know where to go, and if it's not, you just go to the genre that you look at me pointing back here like you're gonna come here.
I want a personal tour of that library.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love my outstanding.
You reorganize your shelf like once a month at least.
The what?
You reorganize your shelves like once a month. She loves reorganizing.
I love it. I'm such a nerd, and I act like a librarian with my music. I'm so stupid.
I just love that you love it so much. And me, I'm like, this is stressful. I have to do this tomorrow, and I'm stressed.
I wish you guys could be a fly on the wall. You guys would be cracking up.
I usually just stop halfway through, which is what I've done. I did it like 2 weeks ago, and so now when I film, I'm just like, just a shot because that's not done over there yet.
There's a pile over here, a pile over here.
I'm like, so just imagine when you're watching my videos that everything outside the parameters of the screen is
a mess.
Fucking mess. Like everything in front of me is a mess. Everything to this.
Oh my god!
No, just know that's the only part of her room. Because it's true. And sometimes I'm like, I'm just filming in the living room. I can't do this.
Yeah, this is far from what we.
Sorry, yeah, I don't know if anybody came here to really.
Is anybody still here?
There are 5 people.
Oh, okay.
It might just be all of us with the YouTube open.
It probably is.
What? Are we the 5?
It's just us.
No. Well, I'm not on there, so we have 1.
Me neither.
If you're still watching, put something.
Put a little closer.
No.
They're like, these bitches haven't talked about this book in 40 minutes. I'm out of here. Oh.
They stopped talking about it a long time ago.
Like almost immediately.
Yes, it was like 15 minutes and that's it.
I'll tell you, this has been one of my favorite live shows, though, because
Me too.
I feel like all we've done is talk about awesome books that we love and awesome booktubers that we love, and we all bookshelves. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's literally just hanging out.
Yeah,
So funny.
Anyone watching?
I don't even think we got that spoilery. Like, I feel like someone could still read the book after we talked about it.
Yeah, no, that we didn't even talk about any of that.
Oh god.
Like, I seriously feel like someone could watch this and like
still read the book.
Yeah,
for sure.
If they wanted to. I mean, I advise you're probably fine. Try it out. I don't know. The beginning's really solid.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
That was too funny.
The blurb does like say a lot about how it's like kind of compared to the Addams Family. Did you guys get those vibes at all?
No.
I love the Addams.
Isn't it just because they're a family and they're all just
kind of
got their own
excited
different
about
quirks?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They were creepy.
Maybe Arthur is kind of like the Lurch character, but in this book, everyone's in love with Lurch and wants to be with him.
It's like the Addams Family. Everyone wants to Lurch. Like, that's what it is. Like, and then you find out that Lurch killed Gomez's brother living in Wednesday. I mean, or something.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
No, the Addams Family is delightful, and this was quite boring.
Yeah. The Addams Family like loves each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all kind of were very,
revel in
very
their
nasty to
weirdness.
each other.
Yeah.
Like, no one cared about each other. The two sisters, like, I don't even feel like did they ever work things out in the end? Marcy, you paid more attention than I did.
No,
I don't think they did. I think they were all just like, I feel like they all just migrated somewhere else because they had to, but they weren't even happy to be together. And she was the only one that was like, I'm going to save my family. And
they just did it because
none of them like you. None of them care about you. Why?
Well, it was like each of them likes the different, like everybody likes the grandpa, but only the sisters don't really like each other, but they all have to still work together even though they don't like each other for their own survival or whatever. Yeah, I was just like scrolling through the hashtag What Big Teeth on Instagram just to see. I mean, like maybe we read a different book than everyone else.
Maybe.
There's a lot of good ratings.
5-star reviews on Goodreads, and I was all, I did not read that book.
Yeah.
I honestly, the more people read it, the lower that Goodreads rating goes.
I feel like a lot of those 4 and 5 stars were arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a little bit more pressure when you read an arc
Yeah.
to give it a higher rating. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way?
No, I
don't do that. I don't.
I don't. But I can see how there could be people that are, that feel like they have to give it just to continue maybe getting books. But I usually, I don't.
But also, too, the people
I don't
writing
really
reviews from advanced copy.
I don't matter.
The people writing reviews from advanced copies, too, you got to think, like, who are they? Do the authors know them somehow and got them the book? Or is it something that's already so much on the radar, something that they would love anyways, and so they're requesting it?
Right.
Like normally if you're using NetGalley or something, if it's not something that you're super interested in or that you want to read, you're not going to request. So maybe it's because it's those people who are reading them earlier are the people who would like it to begin with. Like it's their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I interject really quickly to say you just mentioned NetGalley, and I don't know if anybody else got this email and went for it, but it was one of those, like, for a limited time only. It was like read now, like you could just snag it. You didn't have to request. For Stephen Graham Jones's new book, My Heart is a Chainsaw.
You bet your ass I jumped on that.
Okay, I was like, got that shit.
No,
I jumped on it so fast.
Get it. You know what? My NetGalley score is crap because I've asked for 2 books, got them, and did not read them. So.
Raine, my NetGalley score is 30 books. So trust me that I still get, I get denied, but I get so approved. Sometimes I'm requesting and I'm like, I need to stop because one day they're going to start denying all of them, but I still keep getting them.
Sometimes they just send me stuff. Like,
are
we allowed to swear?
Oh, I hope so. I said the F word earlier.
So
I
did
see
I.
videos,
But like literally, like it takes effort for me not to.
It does.
It might change the algorithm, but
okay.
I think YouTube doesn't care
really
as much.
I don't know how the algorithm works. The algorithm already hates me, so I really don't care.
I think you're good.
I mean, I
don't
try
know
not
if you
to.
guys also have this, like, where when you go in, because I didn't have it when I was first monetized. This just was a capability a while ago, where you can go in and mark, like, if you curse or like all that stuff. And so when you read, like, what it says, like, I'm pretty sure it only cares about probably the first 5 minutes of the video. And as long as
less than that.
Yeah, as long as there's nothing like in the opening or in your like credits or any, like, I don't think they're gonna, like, unless someone like would report us for using the F word or something, then
I'm not monetized, so I don't care.
Me neither. So I'd say all kinds of crazy stuff on my channel. I don't know.
I say quite literally whatever I feel like saying, and then I'll just go in there, and because it says like you can put like light profanity and it's still fine for ads, but it's like as long as you don't say anything within the first like minute or something.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Like,
since I'm not monetized, I just have the I just have the like not for kids because I'm not monetized. So but it's not my channel, so I didn't want to.
You're fine. I cuss on my channel all the time.
Okay.
You're fine. It's my channel, and
Very
I
true.
mean, I have a whole video about fuckathon.
Oh yeah,
And that's a thing, and I got so many dislikes on that, but I don't really care.
Oh my god.
Did you?
Not like a ton, but it's probably the most that I've had.
Weird.
So I just,
That's
and I
fine.
don't know if this is a secret, but I just saw, Kat, in the Google spreadsheet you sent me, that there's a tab for a readathon.
she said it all quiet.
Like, as if I said it quiet enough, the people would.
No one would know.
Nobody saw you. Don't worry. It's only us 4 on here, anyways, or us
It
5.
is literally, I think, only the 5 of us watching each other on YouTube. Why don't we just
live
go
for
live?
no reason?
Let's just
one
cut the
person
live
there.
and chat for a bit.
Hi, one person hanging out with us.
They'll watch later.
They heard me say fuckathon and they were like, I'm out.
I'm out.
Dislike.
Hate.
Oh my
Yeah.
Okay,
it
so
is
what was that about? Tell us. No, not yet? Okay.
Yes, there is going to be a readathon happening at some point.
In June.
I feel like I'm always finding out about this stuff here, like our next books. Am I not in the same chat?
We had a conversation about this.
Yeah, I thought we did too.
Marcy, you were
talked
the
about
dates that we do it.
Okay, I didn't know, but I'm not in the Discord chat because I don't have that app.
It wasn't Discord.
This is like for the Stripes of Strange. I thought that was for Horror in 24.
No, it was the strange one.
Yeah, the Strange-a-thon or whatever.
I
Look,
love
how
that.
dare you have anything outside of this group, Marcy?
How dare I, right? I have so many things. I'm like, I need to take it down.
You sent me a list of readathons, and then I was all, let's do it the 21st to the 27th, so it doesn't.
But that was for Horror in 24. That was
No.
Right, no, we're not.
I don't think, Horror in 24, we have The Stand coming up.
Yeah,
That's
we're
it.
reading The Stand in April.
Okay, so I need to put this on my calendar.
I know what. Okay, we'll talk later.
Decided on.
We can if you want to cut the live, we can chat about this without people knowing that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have a readathon in June, so
Yeah, if you guys
More
are watching-
details later.
yeah,
Yeah.
Once we figure it out.
it's
I
fine.
don't even know about it.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty much done talking about the book anyway, so I might as well log this out. Anybody got anything on their channels happening? I mean, we did already mention The Stand.
What's
That's
a channel?
Thing. We have Gabby from Gabby Reads, who's going to be reading with us. We're
Love
going to
that.
read The Stand by Stephen King. That's going to be like a 24-day read along. So it's a pretty big book. So 24 days should be
I'm so excited.
hopefully a good amount of time. I think it averages about like 50 pages a day. So if you're
Doable.
ready to take on the commitment and
What are the dates
read
on
along
that,
with us.
you guys?
Huh?
What are the dates on that?
I have it. It's like April.
Okay, it's next
Sorry, I'm terrible.
no, you're
I don't remember either. So.
It is
April 12th
April 12th
through
through the May 5th. Yeah.
April 12th through May 5th.
And then May 6th is the live show.
Yes.
I'll at the very least hop on the live show and chat with y'all because I love that book. I don't know if I'll reread it, but I'll come hang out and talk with y'all.
Yay!
This is my first time reading it. Marcy,
Mine too.
yours too? Okay. So I think Crystal will be rereading it. And then Carol, have you read it?
Yeah.
So you and Crystal will be rereading, and then me, Marcy, and Gabby will be reading it for the first time.
I already know which parts where I'm like, why did I tell them I would reread this?
No, I'm nervous.
No, it's just really long. It's just really long.
Right.
It took me like 3 weeks to read it. I remember when I read it.
Okay. So
Is that
24
like
days, I
dense?
feel like is a good amount of time because it's like it's like 3.5 weeks.
It's good. It's good. It's
Yeah.
not. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
We have a Horror in 24 Instagram. I'll link it down below. So if anybody wants to participate, all the details are over there.
Yes, I'm not in Horn 24. I'm just hyping y'all up.
You're there in spirits.
Come on, go follow them.
All right. How about y'all's channels? What you guys got going on?
What is a channel? I don't know what that is because I haven't been on mine.
Dude, I haven't done nothing on mine either.
I filmed my January wrap up and my January book haul, and I have decided that I'm not going to upload it because we're already like on the first week of March. So like, why? But
I
am
filmed
gonna
the
be-
January wrap up, but I still think I might post it.
I just feel like it's so far. And then like if I post that and then immediately post like a February wrap up, it's like so many wrap ups. Although that's all I do.
You're fine. Do it.
What I would do, Marcy,
You want.
is just
You don't
combine
want.
them. List every book you read
Okay.
at the beginning, tell your star ratings, and then choose a couple that you want to talk about that you didn't like or disappointed you. Choose a couple that you do like and just combine them and be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just pick your
I thought about
favorites.
doing
or
that.
something. Yeah.
That's a good
Because
idea.
I started doing all my monthly wrap-ups like that, and so far no one in the comments has been like, oh, I wish you had talked more about that book, like that you just mentioned that you read and gave a star rating to. So because I hate filming wrap-ups because I
Yeah.
hate talking for that long,
Yeah.
and I know that like I don't even watch me talk for 30 minutes. I don't want to watch me talk.
And you don't
Yeah.
really want to talk about a book that you rated pretty low. Like, I mean, that's why this live, I was very nervous about this live, but it actually, like, I feel like we made great conversation considering, like, we all gave it 2 stars.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I'm over the point in my life where I need to extrapolate on a 3-star book. It's 3 stars. You can assume why.
Yeah.
It was okay. I just talk of, like, it was fine.
I just find that by the time that I do my wrap-ups, it's like the 20th of the month because whatever, that's how I am. And then by that time, I forgot like the beginning, like the first 4 or 5 books, I forget, or a book that wasn't memorable. And it's so hard for me to sit there. And literally my videos are probably an hour and a half long because I'm so much like, I'm not making sense. What was this book about? What did I read?
yeah.
Then I wish wouldn't talk about it because honestly, I don't think people care as much to have a mini review of every
All of them.
And if someone says something in the comments of just like, oh man, you only gave that one 3, you can always just respond to the comment with your like short thought.
Yeah. If you want to hear more, they'll ask.
People who are like, oh, what were your thoughts on that? They'll ask. I've not even had really anyone do that yet. And I've been doing my wrap-ups like that for at least like 6 months.
Yeah. I like that style.
I wanted to change, like in January, I wanted to start doing, like, I love how people do the current reads. So in Love and Words,
she's doing that.
Yeah, she does the current reads and she talks about them. And then at the end of the month, sort of like what you said, like just wrap all of them up. I have videos for that, but let me talk about my favorites and my disappointments.
Yeah, this year I switched to doing the recently read. I've been doing like 10 books at a time, and it's so much better because like when sometimes I read like 20, 30 books a month, I would sit there for like an hour and a half filming, and like you said, like some books I read like 30 days ago at that point. If I didn't really like them, I don't remember them. I don't feel like talking about them. So like doing them more often, but talking about less books has made it like so much better.
That's what I do too. I just do recent reads, and then I can cut it off when I want.
Recent reads number 1, number 2.
All right. So anybody else have anything to say before I wrap this up, and we can continue this conversation together?
Let's cut it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you read The Echo Wife with us next month, hopefully.
Yes.
If not, April, we're reading We Ride Upon Sticks, so that one should be really good. So
I'm really excited about that one. I bought it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.